Okay, so I think the question today, we're talking about plans. A lot of 400,000 jobs is a lot of jobs. But today I think people who don't have a job are thinking to themselves, well, that's great, but I don't have a job now, and I need one now. What do you say to those folks?
Well, part of the problem, one of the reasons that some people don't have jobs now is that planning didn't take place earlier. And the fact is that just because we are facing difficult times now does not mean that we should allow ourselves to be diverted from taking those steps and undertaking those initiatives that will create jobs in the future. And quite frankly, many of these jobs can be created rather quickly with the right kind of investment. As the $150 million that's in our job stimulus package, we hope to have those resources spent over the next 3 years, and much of it even this year, before the end of this year. So we think that what this program, this energy program, this new alliance of Apollo program supporters can do will jumpstart our nation's economy. We're calling for a $50 billion per year investment that will enable states like Ohio and other states to see new industries develop and new jobs created. But if we just simply say it's going to take too long to get it done, then it will never get done. And I remember back in the early or the mid-70s when President Jimmy Carter said to our nation that we must deal with the energy situation because it is the moral equivalent of war. And a lot of people sort of mocked President Carter back in those days because gasoline was cheap then, relatively speaking. But how much farther would we be along the road to sustainable energy in this country now had we listened to President Carter then? We have allowed decades to go by without planning and doing the things that must be done to make us energy independent, while at the same time creating jobs and building new industries. So obviously we've got to do everything possible to help people right now, but we cannot allow ourselves to be deterred from taking those actions that will be necessary to make sure that jobs are available in the future.
How do you ensure that the money that will be invested won't be just another giveaway to a particular union or a business, that in fact this really will promote job creation, not just sort of be a gigantic special interest bill?
Well, I think we've seen, as I tried to relay, some examples already in Ohio where targeted investments can have positive outcomes and can result in jobs being created. I think we always have to be careful with the public dollar, and we can't allow any public dollar to be used as a slush fund for a special interest. That's why I think it's important for the Congress to make a commitment that we will focus on energy independence and new technologies and the jobs that will follow those technologies. Obviously there must be safeguards, but we know a lot about what we can do. As was said in the earlier meeting, when we committed ourselves to going to the moon within 10 years, the technology did not exist. And we knew we had the challenge to actually develop that technology to reach that goal. Today, these technologies exist. We know they work. We know we can create energy out of renewable sources, and we can create energy using advanced technologies. And those are the things we need to focus on, and to make sure that any resources are directed in those ways.
What is the state's responsibility to retrain folks that maybe don't have a job now? We're going to be creating these jobs, but they don't have the skills for them. And where does the state step in to help these folks?
Well, we've got a very robust workforce development program, and as you may know, we recently transferred much of the responsibility for workforce development and these kinds of training activities out of the Department of Job and Family Services into the Board of Regents and the Department of Development, because we did recognize that these developing jobs, or the jobs of the future, are going to require specialized training And we felt that the Board of Regents, responsible for post-secondary education opportunities, and the Department of Development, the department that is more likely to know what the workforce needs are, that those two agencies of state government should assume larger responsibilities for this kind of training. So we feel like we have a very robust worker training, a job retraining program underway. We always work to try to improve it. And of course, some of the resources were left with the Department of Job and Family Services because of the kinds of clients that they are responsible for trying to help.
Governor, can I grab you to do you want to take a couple more? Do you want to go on this little tour for a sec?
Governor,
Can you join us for a couple minutes?
Sure, I'll be right with you. But do you want to ask?
No,
Phil,
this is his deal. Go ahead.
Question?
I had a presidential election question for you, Governor.
Okay.
I think we probably need to do that separate from the Apollo Alliance things. Just
Yes,
they're
because we don't want to
nonprofit.
mix because this is a 501.